2011 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. It's got the 6.0. Customer complained on this one a couple days ago. He was driving it and he started noticing that it would make a weird noise when it was driving. It would like almost going over rumble strips. It would have a weird noise coming from it at certain times driving it. I had my scan tool hooked up to it, the Autel Ultra, and I was watching it, and it seemed to line up with the TCC, torque converter clutch. So when you commanded when the vehicle commanded the TCC on, it would actually do that same symptoms. When I turned it off, it wouldn't do it. So anyways, the customer took it to a shop, not us, had a different shop, changed the transmission fluid, or they flushed it. I don't know if they flushed it or just changed it. I guess the oil fluid was pretty nasty. Wonder if it was some like clutch material in there, I'm not sure. So on these GM vehicles, it's got the 6L90, I think it is. It's the MYD RPO code, regular production option. I think it's the 6L90 6-speed. And there's a TCC lockup. So older torque converters would either be on or off, right? Well, these newer ones, they're pulse width modulated, PWM, so they'll apply different pressures to it, and there's a clutch inside, or clutches inside the torque converter, and it'll let it, you know, like a manual transmission, kind of let it slip when you're getting up to speed. Well, I believe these engage at, don't quote me on this, like 19 miles an hour, and it's going to be slipping, and you know, well, eventually that stuff will wear out, the clutch material and metal, and what does it do? It pumps it through the pump and it goes through the tranny. I'm not saying that's the problem with this one, but I believe it is a common problem on these transmissions. So people either put them in, you know, rebuild them, or put a reman in or a new one in, and you can use HP tuners instead of the TCC locking up at, you know, 19 miles an hour. I think you can change with HP tuners from 45 miles an hour. I'm not sure on that. I was talking to a guy named Zach McLean. He's in Arkansas, and I talked to him quite a bit about troubleshooting cars, and he's helped me out a lot with different things, so keys and mobilizers, programming, and all kinds of stuff. So he's the one that mentioned the you know, the TCC when it locks up and all that stuff. So now, so I did a full system scan, and if you look, well, I didn't do a full system yet. I just did engine and TCM and some other ones. Well, the engine one's going to be a P0700 to tell the TCM request mill illumination. Well, transmission control modules is a P0796, current DTC. Pressure control solenoid 3 stuck off. Not a shift solenoid, but a pressure control solenoid, like a little pressure switch, is stuck off. Whether it's from contamination in the transmission, the fluid, or clutch material, or whatever it is. Well, also, I believe the shop that changed the fluid or flushed it, whatever they did, I guess they added some additive too. I don't know what they added. But if you go to service data, well, first off, there is a TSB that addresses a 796 slip or no 4th or 5th or 6th gear for all these vehicles, right? Some customers can complain there's a DTC 0796. Phone has an active or history in the TCM, slip or no 4th, slip or no 5th gear, slip or no 6th gear. If the 4 to 5, 6 clutch is found to be distressed, be sure to disassemble and inspect for the pump for possible damage. Inspect the following: scored pump, rotor, pump vanes, scored pump, cover, pump, rotor bracket, crack pump inside. Failure to disassemble and inspect the pump may cause repeat distress to the 4, 5, 6 clutches. Sounds like a pump issue, right? So then, go to the 0796 for this transmission. The DTCs listed below set due to transmission hydraulic mechanical condition. Perform the circuit system verification and circuit system testing to identify the cause. 796, that's your code. Clutch pressure control solenoid 3 stuck off. Transmission hydraulic mechanical performance. Clutch pressure control. I'm gonna have to look at some live data while we drive this. So I guess the guy was driving it and got stuck in first gear, and then it reset it, shut it off, started it, but it was still shifting weird, and it was, I don't know if it was stuck in first gear again or not. We'll have to drive it and see. Anyways, the clutch pressure control solenoid 3, which is the code we have, is part of the control solenoid valve assembly, which has no serviceable parts. Okay, pressure control solenoid 3 regulates the transmission fluid pressure to the CBR1 C456 clutch regulator valve, which controls pressure to the low reverse clutch and the 456 clutch. The TCM calculates gear ratio based on the RPM signals from the input speed sensor and the output speed sensor. The TCM compares an expected transmission gear ratio to the calculated gear ratio for each command and gear. Conditions for running it. Okay. Well, conditions for setting for 796. For this code to set, my phone just died there, so it's all good now. All right, so my phone died, like I said. But all right, so 796. The TCM has detected an incorrect gear ratio or neutral condition with the 456 clutch is command. When the 456 clutch is commanded on, this condition must occur 3 times. Actions when take. It's going to run maximum line pressure and inhibits tow haul. Freezes transmission adaptive functions. Inhibits the tap up down shift. Just the guy right there. Enables torque management. All that stuff. Anyways, so you can go through this. It talks about how it works, gives all the schematics. But it tells you basically to go through and do these tests, like engine idling and park with the parking brake applied on wheels, drive truck, perform the transmission, you know, check the fluid. Yeah, we'll do that, especially since it was just on. Monitor the transmission fluid pressure, switch 5 with a scan tool. Place the gears lever in park, reverse, and neutral. Verify the TFP switch parameter states for correct park, reverse, neutral. Place it in drive. Command the shift transmission with the scan tool. We'll do all this stuff. Make sure the input, output speed sensors are okay. Do a road test. And it talks about if it's the valve body. But anyways, you go down here, 796, it's, you know, debris, binding, damaged stalker board, scored bore, turbine shaft seals could be leaking O-rings. It's honestly looking like it's going to need a transmission or a rebuild. And the TCM, I believe, is inside on these. You have to program them, which tells you down here. If you go to live data, let's go to freeze frame first. It's 4,300 RPMs, input, output speed, going 77 miles an hour, 5th gear. It's in drive 6. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. See what else we got here. Hopefully you could see that. I don't know if it's blurry or not. I guess I wasn't looking at the screen. Kind of the same stuff, but anyways, go to your live data right now. Transmission, and you go in here. There's your input speed, output speed. The supply voltage is okay. IMS is in park. I mean, I can move it around. It's gonna, IMS will go to reverse, neutral, drive, manual mode, manual. So all that's reading, which I, you know, assumed it would be. But what I did notice is your pressure control solenoid, what do they call it here, command is 109 psi, while these other ones, so I guess it's given a max line pressure, I would assume. So yeah, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clear the codes, and we'll probably do some roll tests and go from there. All right, so I cleared all the codes. We're driving it. Right now, I'm just watching TCC pressure. It's not applied right now. Feels like it's shifting kind of weird after they did the transmission flush and change. All right, so we're gonna get on it here in a second. All right, now we're going. Right there it says yes, TCC went on. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's making an awful noise. TCC's on and there's the PSI going through it right now. It's pulse width modulated. I slow down, went off. So we'll try to do it again here if we can hear it. All right, so let's do it again. It's on. Sounds like the TCC slipping, what it sounds like to me. I can feel it and I can hear it. I don't know if you can do that in the, hear it or feel it. We can't feel it in the video, but I don't know if you can hear it. If you look, TCC's on. So it's shifting very weird. Go on the highway next. All right, so we're gonna try to get on the highway here. See, it's on there. All right, so finally getting some open country here we can drive. Jesus Christ. Welcome to Mountain Home, Idaho, where they don't fix their roads. Anyways, now we're getting on it. Wanted to get it, you know, the 4, 5, 6 gears. See the RPM slipping there a little bit. TCC's applied at 31 PSI. So we're in 6th gear. TCC applied 17%. 2000 RPMs at 60. I felt it slip a little bit. No engine light yet, but you can definitely hear the TCC noise. I don't know if you can hear it in the video. It's like it's slipping in there in that clutch plate, which, you know, all that material's going through there, probably plugged up that pressure switch, going through it. Yeah, you can put a new torque converter clutch in, clean that switch out, but what damage has already been done from all that material going through there? Needs to be rebuilt, or a new tranny or a reman tranny. All right, so right now there's no codes. Not saying it's going to come back, or it may or may not, but I think what's going on is when that fluid got changed out, or not necessarily changed out, but all that material in there, it plugged that pressure switch up, and that's why, you know, he got stuck in 1st gear. He had no 4, 5, 6, but now it's not plugged up right now, obviously. But what we're hearing is that TCC slipping. So yeah, you could put a new torque converter in it, but like I said, all the material has gone through the valve body, gone through the whole tranny. So what it really needs is a new torque converter and a new transmission, and reprogrammed and all that, because you just put a new torque converter in there and put a new torque converter in there, all the materials in the pressure switches, it can plug it up again. It can go through the tranny, so it needs, you know, to be redone. So, and he's got a, what, 165,500 miles on it. We'll run it one more time and take it back to the shop and make our final determination. All right, so I got him an active test. If I really get on it here, it's just good because TCC went off and then it went on. Shifted pretty good there at the higher gears, but sorry about the camera being all over the damn place. I need a screen recorder. But if I slow way down, my buddy grabs the wheel and steers. And I turn, there's TCCs should be off right there. And if I turn it on, there, now it's going to give max line pressure. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's, yeah, I mean, that's the noise we're hearing. So we'll turn it back off. So what we need to do with this thing, honestly, it needs a new torque converter and a new transmission, or rebuild or remand. I don't know if we're going to get the job for this one. We'll find out what he wants to do, and we'll go from there. But that'll be it for this 2011 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD with the 6L90 transmission. I know I said I was done, but if you listen, we're in park now. You listen, it's whining. It's definitely whining a lot. So I checked the fluid. The fluid looks decent. I mean, it's not low or nothing. But that noise is either it's a torque converter slip or the actual, probably the pump actually. The pump's going bad. You can listen to it. It's whining pretty good. So torque converter, pump issues. So like I said, needs a new tranny and a torque converter. All that stuff done. So that's it for this video.